Oh heck, hold on. I need to close my door so my brother doesn't kill me. Give me 2 seconds. I don't want him to hear the whack things that are about to go down. You know, in the what is this town called again? I can't even remember. It's been so long. Um, hey, Hiba, Himawagashi, something. You know what it is. You know what it is. I don't even have to say it. But yeah. Anyway, welcome back to Higurashi When They Cry. It's on the screen. It's Hinamizawa. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Anyway, Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 4, Himatsubushi. Himatsubushi, yes. That is what we are doing today. This is the last of all the question arcs, and also known as the shortest of all of three, so I don't imagine this will take very long to get through. I could probably do it in like 2-3-ish streams, probably. Probably 2 hours per stream. Anyway, let's just jump right into it, alright? Let's go. Oh lord. I don't think anything super bad will happen. Himatsubushi, for you, the final mystery. I now entrust with you all the mysteries hidden within Higurashi When They Cry. However comical it may be, you have reached any conjecture, then you have passed. This final novel is a meager reward for you. Conjecture is impossible. You have the right to reject this story. Bro, I have the right to reject any of them. What are you talking about this one? But I don't know. Something about Higurashi and its like separation of the chapters, and they present it to you like, I don't know. It feels really personal. Every time. Every single time. I may drink a lot of water too, because my throat hurts. Anyway, let's go. We're not gonna reject, of course. Yeah, what is that? I don't know what that even supposed to be. Who's the criminal, you ask? Don't we search for them in this story? Who's the criminal, you ask? Do you even know what the criminal did? Who's the criminal? Who's the criminal who will kill me now? Frederica Bernkastel. Cool. I love quotes. They're so fun. Midsummer. 1984. 1985. 1984? Okay. I just read the time and ended up arriving too early. Also, if I am correct, this is actually, hold on. This is actually a prequel to the 3 chapters. So this takes place before Keiichi even gets there. I could be wrong, but I think that is how it is. The schedule board flipped with a series of clocks. My flight to Sapporo was still a bit later on. I still had over an hour before boarding. Well, I might as well close my eyes for a bit on that bench over there then. I came here directly from work, so maybe the fatigue from that was making me sleepy. Wait, who is this? Is this, God, I need to remember all their names now. Oishi? New fit? Yeah, Christmas fit. Hey, kiddo, how you doing? Finding a suitable bench, I put my luggage on the seat next to me and settled down. Oof. Sighed like an old man. Because you are an old man, Oishi. This is Oishi, right? I'd hoped to stay young forever, but had become splendidly middle-aged. Apparently, the rumor that even people in later half of their 20s experience a decline in their physical strength wasn't a lie. I had been mind-numbingly busy at work lately, so I rarely had any time to myself. This might have been the first time I've been able to enjoy a journey alone like this since I was a student. The reason behind this trip was to meet an old friend. It was a bit strange to call him an old friend. In fact, it might be better to call him a bad one. After retiring a couple years ago, he moved to Sapporo, his mother's hometown. His mother passed away soon after, and he was now peacefully enjoying his second lease on life. His name was Kurado Oishi. Ah! Okay, so Oishi's the friend. Ah! Well, congratulations for graduating. Yippee yippee! Are you going to celebrate? Do a little party, perhaps? He was a former detective from the primary investigation unit at the station Okinomiya XX Prefecture. Wait, so if Oishi is retiring or is retired, then this takes place after. I'm confused. To be honest, the only direct contact we've had didn't last more than 3 days. After that, we exchanged New Year's cards, but never met again. So this would be the first time meeting him in 7 years. In other words, we met 7 years ago, in 1978. There was something I just had to ask, talk to him about concerning that time. To explain that it was impossible not to recall the incident that happened back then. That kidnapping, the details and resolution of which were resigned to darkness. Also, it was impossible not to recall a certain mysterious girl. Her name is Mamoru Akasaka. It was a year that was strangely hot, even though it was only June. This is talking about. But what happened in this timeline? I don't even know. If this takes place after. Early summer, 1978. Goodbye, teacher. Okay, bye. Watch out for cars. Don't drop in at a friend's house along the way. Make sure you get your textbooks in order for tomorrow before you go to bed. Clatter, clatter, clatter. Lively sounds of children running towards the hallway. Hey now, didn't I tell you before? I already have one of those. I don't need any more. The unique high-pitched voice of youth. The energetic shrill of cicadas went completely unheard by their ears. Children returning home from school split off one by one from their groups of friends as they went through the intersections of the residential area. Even though there were several of them in a group as they left school, as they got closer to their homes, their numbers dwindled. That's why the few friends you were walking home with acted as an indicator that you were that much closer to your destination. Later. See ya. Yeah, see you tomorrow. Probably parted ways with his last friend. Keiichi? A van was parked at the bend in the road. The window was open, the sound of the radio leaking outside. Must have been the news or something. For that reason, the three of them were arrested for traffic violations and obstruction of justice? Wait, huh? Oh, that's the radio, right? Due to the protests against the Himatsubushi Dam project resulting in bloodshed when clashing with the riot police last month, things have only become more violent. Oh, so this is okay. Police are therefore taking precautions against radical activists, causing yet another incident. Last week, there was also direct confrontation with Minister Inugai on the steps of the Ministry of Construction. The boy's ears perked up at the mention of the name Inugai. At that moment, a man's face peeked out suddenly from the window of the van. His behavior was a little different than that of a man looking around to see if there was any incoming traffic before he opened the door of his vehicle. His eyes meeting suddenly with the unfamiliar man, the boy panicked slightly. Nightingale, okay. Skylark, okay. They've secured the 2 blocks around us. What? What? We're good to go. The man in the passenger seat whispered quietly. Nodding in acknowledgement, the man opened the door and stood before the boy. Is this the first time this is actually in third person as well? Like, this isn't a first person story. So far, anyway. You. Are you Toshiki Inugai-kun? While asking that, the men peered at the boy's name tag. Toshiki Inugai. The name was written plainly there. Huh? What does this matter at all? The phone rang for a third time. If he reached out, he could easily pick up the receiver. However, he was concerned that if he picked it up before it even finished ringing once, whoever on the other end of the line would think him as a fairly cheap person. That's why he normally never picked up the phone until the third ring, even though it was a worthless habit. However, he's thinking that there isn't much meaning in waiting just 3 rings. Wouldn't waiting 5 be alright? It was very much a reality. His mind was filling with such trifling thoughts, he picked up the phone after the third ring had finished, its reverb dampening by his action. Yes? Hello? Hello? Son of some government guy getting kidnapped by the anti-dam act. Oh, you're right! Oh my god, that is what this is. Because they did kidnap him. They did. That's what was going on. You're so smart, East. What the heck? I had no idea what was going on. And you got it. That's most definitely what was happening. Sometimes due to the malfunction at the switchboards, calls didn't connect well. At those times, it was best to hang up and let the person on the other end call again. Thinking that, the moment he began to hang up the phone, he sensed that he was definitely connected after all. He felt the presence of a person on the other end of the line, keeping silent. Hello? There was no way they didn't hear his question. What was the meaning of this? It wasn't like he didn't know that people could use silent calls to harass others. However, he'd never received a call like that until today. Maybe he was just unlucky before, but he didn't believe that he would receive such a call on his phone. There was no direct calls to or from this line. Everything had to go through an operator. Therefore, there was absolutely no way the call would be connected unless it was verified there was somebody else on the other end of the line. That's why he didn't understand how to deal with this silent call and instead settled in confusion. I don't know who you are. If you have nothing to say, I'm going to hang up. Please call again some other time. Pretending that to be the parting line, he made to slam down the receiver. It was at this moment the person on the other end spoke for the first time.
You didn't say who you were, so I was anxious.
What? If you're calling a line directly, you know who it is, right? Or you haven't...
If you're not Minister Inugai, please hang up right away.
Couldn't help but be surprised by the extremely strange voice on the other end of the line. Was there a human alive who could speak with such hoarse and metallic voice? That was fitting. No, this was a voice he had heard somewhere before. This was the kind of voice that was on those lowbrow documentaries they'd use when they wanted to hide the identity of a speaker, wasn't it? The voice he was hearing over the line was exactly like that. Who are you?
As I said, that's what I want to ask. Are you Minister Inugai?
He, Inugai, hesitated to answer. Unable to discern the intent of the suspicious phone call, he had a vague feeling that something was off. Thought about hanging up the phone and asking the operator who initiated the call. However, he forced himself to restrain that urge, and for the time being, chose to state his name and listen. That's right. This is Inugai. I said my name, now say yours.
My name doesn't matter. First of all, let's begin by thinking about the situation you're in right now. Right now, you're sitting in your chair talking on the phone, yes. Then why don't you try opening the lower drawer to your right?
Oh no, did they freaking go into his house and plant things? Lowest drawer to the right of the minister's chair. There's a lock on it, enough to function as a safe, but nevertheless, it was a drawer that contained some valuable things. That's why Inugai thought the person wanted some important information contained within that drawer. Pipe bomb! Oh, dude, that would be great, but I don't think that's what it is. Sorry, but I don't have any intention of opening that. I have no reason to follow your orders from somebody who won't even give me his name.
If you don't open that drawer, I'll hang up the phone. You'll most likely end up regretting that.
Oh my god. The threats. The threats.
Why don't you think about opening that drawer first?
Inugai didn't like the following orders from the suspicious person one bit. However, he was concerned about what the man said about regretting it, so he decided to open up the drawer. Took the small key he kept stowed in his wallet and locked the drawer. His hand stopped right before he opened it. What if there was a bomb inside? And it would explode if the drawer was opened. Yeah! Kiddo! You got it. You got it. You're so smart. Hold on. Let me take another drink. I have the coldest, most refreshing water with me today. Okay. That delusion took hold of him. He quelled that instinct and opened it.
Did you do it? The thing that's in there, don't you know what it is?
What is the meaning of this? Hey!
I don't think there's any need for me to explain, is there? I'll give you some time, so please think about it a little.
Oh, it's probably a picture of his son being kidnapped, right? Or his son, like, in a chair strapped up or something, right? Because this is the whole hostage situation.
I'll contact you again later. Now then, pardon me.
Hey, wait! Hello? Hello! The call had already ended. That would not change no matter how much he yelled at it. Even still, Inugai, without realizing that, continued yelling into the receiver for a while. The drawer was still open. The top of the folders crammed into the drawer. It lay there. Toshiki Inugai, written in plain lettering on a grade schooler's name tag, just lying there. Well, that's proof enough that he got freaking kidnapped, so I'm gonna say I was correct. Enshrined there, completely out of place, as if it were cowering. This is a work of fiction, and resemblance to any persons or organizations is completely entirely coincidental.
Higurashi, one that cries, everything says,
Yeah, let's go! Woohoo! I guess that was the introduction? Who is this now? We're freaking jumping all over the place in this one. Oh my god. Do you remember, Yukie? This picture. This is where I first proposed to you. The brief moment you nodded back, before you nodded back, probably wouldn't know just how much it seemed like an eternity to me. Yes, I would never thought that amount of time could feel like an eternity. Compared to how long I had to wait for you to propose to me, it was from the moment I met you until today. Granted, the time I spent since I was born might only be a brief period, but they were definitely precious, beautiful days that deserved to be called an eternity. That time continues even now. From now on, I wonder if it'll be a boy, or maybe a girl. Either one is fine. boy or girl, either way it's living proof that we love each other. If it's a boy, we'll name it after you, Mamoru. If it's a girl, we'll put the Yuki from my name in hers. Thinking about names is so fun that in the end, we still haven't decided yet. There's still time to puzzle over it. Is this the government guy? Like, yeah. We're going in a deep backstory on this man. Oh my god. I mean, I'm honored, Keto. I'm honored. Not that long of time, actually. See, Yukie, there's something I have to apologize for today. It's my job. Sorry. Mamoru was the name of the police guy who was going to visit Oishi. You're right! You're right! Oh my god, East, thank you for remembering literally everything I forget. That's great. Sorry, looks like an annoying bit of work has come up. In worst case, you might not be able to be there for delivery. It's fine. You have a very important job. What you do protects the way we live. Rare to you, it's nothing. Please, go ahead. When you return, I'll be waiting here with our child. Thank you. Also, I'm sorry. Please don't apologize. If you feel guilty about it, then you can just atone. You could just atone? How? If I atone that much, no matter how much money I have, it won't be enough. Incredible skill of remember thing that was said 15 minutes ago. I mean, yeah, that is a skill, I swear. It's a joke. Now, go on. When I left the room, I bumped into an elderly man. He was Yukie's father. In other words, my father-in-law. Father! I didn't want to intrude, so I waited in the hall. I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but I heard. Go. Yukie isn't that kind of girl. Is that kind of girl. No matter what happens, she doesn't want to hold you back. I've forced Yuki to give up on so many things. To put her through this during childbirth, such an important time of her life, I'm ashamed. If you really feel that way, when you're done with your work, make some time for Yukie. She'll be happier with that than you passing off your work on somebody else. Thank you. I know full well you do important work. Be proud of what you do. Yukie is looking forward to your triumphant return. Yes. Sup, Hex? What's going on, homie? Jumped into the taxi that was waiting outside. Compared to the time when I first got there, the numbers on the fare meter had grown considerably. It seemed the modest time Yukie and I had spent together wasn't so modest from the objective point of view. Sorry to keep you waiting. Go ahead. No worries. Well then, off we go. Taxi jerked as it changed gears to accelerate, soon burying the hospital my wife was in behind the throng of buildings. It would stand up as a really troublesome ordeal. I probably wouldn't be returning for quite some time. To call a rookie like me, and on top of that, one who's off duty, seems like the section chief who was calling for all hands on deck. Veteran upper brass gathering on an emergency basis happened occasionally. This is the first time, though, that I experienced everybody gathering together like this. Wait, hold on. He said that he was going to name his son Mamoru after himself, or after his dad, right? So it's not the son that was there. It was him or his dad or something. Because 7 years in the future, the kid would be 7 years old. There's no way he would know Oishi, right? Unless you already knew that. And I'm just... whatever. I'll read it again if I have. This was the first time, though, that I experienced everybody getting together like this. He wouldn't be 7 and working as a cop, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Whatever was happening, there was no doubt it was going to be something novel. Right when my wife was ready to give birth, I wanted to spend the time to curse my misfortunes, I'd be here all day. Even the verdant ginkgo trees lining the street that always brightened my mood seemed to lack some of the usual luster. Eventually, the government office came into view. Briefly holding my breath, let the feelings of tension course through my body once again. I had to remember the work I was doing was important, necessary, and difficult. I composed myself and sharpened my wit. Hey, Sonic Windy Blade, what is up, bro? Ready? Taxi stopped in front of the building. Kasumigaseki, Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department Public Safety Division. Yeah. Chief, everyone's here. Akasaka-kun, could you close the blinds? Blinds were usually closed when they needed to use the projector, or if the discussion was going to contain some particularly disturbing content. The blinds closed with a satisfying sound, darkening the interior of the room. Immediately, the inside of the room was completely drained of the pleasant morning atmosphere, leaving behind only the cold illumination of the fluorescent lighting. After the supervisor ensured that everyone was present, he nodded to the section chief once again. With everybody on edge of their seats, the chief stood up solemnly and began to give his report. Okay, so this is him saying, the government guy's kid has been kidnapped, right? And, it's you guys to go fix it. Yeah. Approximately 48 hours ago, the Minister of Construction's grandson, who's also the son of one of his staff leaders, is believed to have been kidnapped. It's believed that the minister, in an effort to resolve matters amicably, chose not to report the situation to the police and plans to cede to the demands imposed upon him. It seemed that approximately 48 hours earlier, the Minister of Construction's grandson and those of his senior staff members were kidnapped. The reason why it was phrased that way was because the person in question didn't admit it had happened. Based on the results of surveillance conducted on the minister's residence, multiple suspicious phone calls from what is believed to be outside the city took place. The abducted child is said to be under treatment for some illness, but there is no trace of any hospital records or witnesses to such effect. Due to that and various other reasons, we believe without a doubt that a kidnapping has occurred. Here, they admitted the details that brought this incident to light. If you think about it a bit, that meant that before this incident had happened, the minister's residents have already been under surveillance already. I won't use the words spied upon. What? Of course, there wouldn't have been any court approval for this, and it would have been very hard to explain to ordinary citizens. However, it was quite an effective method to catch a wind of incidents like this before they got worse. So, it's because he was an important guy, right? That he was just looked at, always, to make sure nothing bad happened, right? And nothing nefarious. I'd like for you to understand that dealing with these cases before they become a problem is the job of the Public Safety Division. Why is he just following their demands instead of reporting this to the police? The fact that the minister can't even trust the police? What is the world coming to? It seems that the group of perpetrators demonstrated that they have a high level of surveillance on the minister themselves when they conducted the kidnappings. Enough to give the minister pause before calling the police. Probably because he was involved with them, which was a big political incident. Yeah, true. We'll find out right away if you call the cops, more or less. So it's possible there's a mole close to the minister. Several of the higher-ranking members who seem to have experience with this kind of thing let out deep sighs. The goal of the perpetrators, their demands, as well as the entire incident are as of yet, unclear. But in any case, the possibility that this may grow to threaten national interest is extremely high. If their goal was to simply have their demands met for monetary gain, that would have been nice. However, if this was some politically motivated shake-up, things would get a lot more complicated. Luckily, that is exactly what this is. Since we're not receiving any cooperation from the victim, that means we're not privy to any of the details of the threats or demands. Due to the fact we believe there may be a mole involved in this incident, the investigation is highly classified. Only the people in this room are to know of this. Furthermore, as this case is our utmost priority, we'll be placing a hold on everybody's normal duties. Understood? After that, the survivor continued on, tactfully explaining her course of action. If this incident were to become public, it would be possible that the minister's political life would be over. Why would the minister's political life be over? He didn't ask for his son to get kidnapped. Like, I don't get that logic. I'll spare you the explanation of how the rest of the dominoes would fall, but in the end, support in the Diet would decline, followed by a no-confidence vote and a snap election. He's cooperating with the kidnappers. Well, yes, but only because he has to, you know? Well, I guess it's okay. It's like, oh, he doesn't trust the police to handle it, so he do it by, okay. Whatever, I get it. Oh, I get it. Wait. And it might even expand communist influences? Wait, huh? What? How does that? Okay, sure. Yeah. In other words, we want to handle this delicately. Kawasaki and Saiki monitor communications from the minister and the child's residence 24/7. Find out what the minister is doing. Report anything that happens. The remaining members investigate whatever it is related to this case as assigned to your units. Focus your line of investigation on the commies, Reds, and Confeds. What? Huh? They think the communists are behind this? I didn't know the Red Scare was, like, extended to Japan. I thought that was just an American thing. Don't discount the possibility of foreign involvement, either. I've experienced one or two on amicable situations before. This, however, is the first time I've seen things get so hectic. Several sophisticated conversations were progressing without the involvement of a rookie like me. I didn't intend to be timid, but I couldn't hide my confusion with this unfamiliar situation. And cover that. As for Akasaku-kun, I snapped back to alertness upon hearing my name called. Yes? You investigate the environmental groups that have petitioned the minister. Among them, there's that group protesting the Himatsubushi Dam project that made the papers. Make sure you investigate them thoroughly. I doubt this is the act of some citizen group, but we have to eliminate every possibility we can. Understood. So those opposed to the Himatsubushi Dam, probably best if you go to location personally. Get some information from local authorities. Fairly radical organization. So the Public Safety Division should have them marked as well. Understood. I'll head over there. Your wife? She's almost ready to give birth, isn't she? Who freaking told you, huh? Unless it was me. Unless I said. I apologize for the timing of all this, but I'm counting on your cooperation. Can't just take our time with this, so we have to brute force it with our boots to the ground. Yeah, I know. My wife hates to interfere with my work and with her own circumstances anyways. Her own circumstances. She's giving birth. Bruh. Sorry and thanks. So then, as for Kawasaki-kun and Saiki-kun, to help support your blah 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 blah. None of this happened in the anime. I want to make that perfectly clear. I don't know what is going on. I didn't want to take a business trip when my wife was about to give birth. Even if I was a little busy, as long as I was in Tokyo, I could head to the hospital right away. On assignment, though, that would be difficult. Even so, I knew the work I was doing was important, and fully understood that I was in no position to be so selfish. I'd have to make it up to my wife for having to be away at such an important time. My wife, Yukie, would probably forgive me with a smile. The only thing she could hate doing would be holding me back. My male ego, though, I at least wish she would have tried to stop me. Sorry, Yukie. I don't mind if you always complain to our child that their father couldn't come to the hospital when they were born because he was too busy with work. You see, this might become a common occurrence. If you are so busy you can't be there for your child's birth, what makes you so, not busy enough to where you can't be there, for their birthdays or special occasions like graduations or whatever? You know? It's going to spread through their entire life. And their child is going to be like, oh, my father was never there for me because he was always busy with work. You know, it's going to have an impact, I think. But, it's fine. It's fine. The next day, I took a bullet train to Nagoya, and from there transferred to the train to XX Prefecture. Getting to my destination by land took several hours. If I was traveling by air, in that amount of time, I could probably get as far as Hong Kong. XX Prefecture was by no means close. Bullet train, like the movie! Yeah, exactly. I never sat in first class except for work, but whenever I did, the seat seemed stiff. Closing my eyes, I mentally reviewed the documents I read yesterday. Group under investigation, the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance. They're a group of residents opposed to the development proposed under the Himatsubushi Dam project. Local protests were quite heated, and were getting more radicalized. Even limited to what was written in the newspapers, there was a bloodshed that occurred during a clash with riot police, interference with the dam construction. Too many to count. The number of petitions, sit-ins, and direct appeals to the relevant organizations were innumerable. As an extension of that, there was a direct appeal to the Minister of Construction the other day. That was the reason why you're investigating this group in the first place. That land that they lived on was going to be submerged, so it was no wonder they would go into frenzy over it. Even given that, though, could they really be capable of doing something like kidnapping the Minister of Construction's grandson in order to halt the project? From my take on it, I had serious doubts. The kidnapping plot was extremely sophisticated and complicated enough that it was believed there was going to be some political backing. This isn't something that could be pulled off by some group of local protesters. Well, just like the chief said, the plan was to eliminate all possibilities. While I'm in the XX Police's reference rooms taking my time investigating, higher-ups in Tokyo would probably solve the case. Without my involvement entirely. Even if that were true, I couldn't regret being away from Tokyo while my wife was ready to give birth. They're sending one guy to investigate this thing in Hinamizawa, even though we know, like, from hindsight, that yes, they are definitely behind it. This poor fella, you know? This is probably where he meets Oishi, though, right? You need a permit to protest in Japan? I don't know how to feel about that. I feel like it could be a good thing, but also, like, a not good thing. Pros and cons, but I'm not gonna get into that. This was work. There was really nothing I could do. Ding dong. The announcement that we would be arriving at our destination soon snapped me back to full wakefulness. Gogura, XX Prefecture, Prefectural Public Safety Division. The Onigafushi Defense Alliance? Yeah, they've been quite active around here. Prefectural Public Safety Department already had the documents and a cup of tea ready and waiting for me. Short of it is, they're a group of residents opposed to the dam. Really, it's probably better to say that every resident on the land that's going to be submerged is rising to action, though. Like the old saying, fight to the last. They're a determined and well-prepared lot. It'd be nice if they drew the line at just being a moderate residential organization. The stack of papers they had prepared for me in the document room was by no means thin. At first, they were pretty much your average citizen's initiative, but ever since that incident with the riot police, they've really started to heat up. Now they've got a violent mentality, on top of a growing increasingly radical. Violent organizations usually indicate ones that enforce their own ideology without regards to the democratic process. Breaking that down, many of those organizations held extreme left revolutionary ideologies. Considering that, I couldn't help be surprised that a citizens group would end up going this far. Radical citizens movements happen occasionally. It seemed, however, that this group was nothing as trifling as that. It seemed that I would have to reconsider exactly what this Onigafuchi Defense Alliance was. You know, it makes sense, though. You know, their whole freaking city is going to be submerged in water. You know? And with people that have such a, traditionalistic view, like, yes, we need to stay here and protect what we have because we've been here for so long and we have such a rich culture and junk like that. Like, I get it. Why they would defend it so hard, and I don't understand why the government would be like, hey, you guys suck. The dam is better than your entire hundreds years of culture. You know? I don't know if the dam is that important, is it? Why are they doing a dam in the first place? I can't even remember. They should learn to breathe underwater. Submerged in water and communism. Oh yes, the worst combination. The Defense Alliance demand, in other words, the withdrawal of the dam project. How far would they have to go to have that demand met? The kidnapping of the minister's grandson was classified. That meant, of course, I couldn't tell the XX prefectural department about it either. As you know, there were arrests after last week's confrontation with Mr. Inugai. That's enough reason to believe they can use illegal means to assert their demands. Skimmed over the list of criminal records related to Onagabuchi Defense Alliance reported in the documents. Contents were all violent, not giving me the barest hint of a feeling that these people were trying to uphold the law. Oh my gosh, I'm guessing they have nothing about Sonozaki's though. Like, probably nothing, because they're in with them, or whatever. Freaking Sonozaki Uncle 200 is chief of police or something, I don't know. Could you give me a basic rundown of the types of illegal activities the Onagabuchi Defense Alliance are engaging in? Chief opened up a manila envelope, fished out several unorganized sheets, and spread them out on the desk. Seems that raids on the construction site are the most common. At first, they were committing relatively petty crimes, like cutting power tables, jamming locks, and breaking office windows by throwing rocks. Of course, what really happened first were things like demonstrations, sit-ins, and distribution of pamphlets, lively but democratic forms of protest. However, then the demonstrators and police clashed, which started a riot, leading to numerous injuries and arrests. It was from then on the Onagabuchi Defense Alliance, like their name implies, began to take a more demonish form of resistance. The raids were frequent. Didn't the local police up their patrols? Well, of course they were on full alert, but they were all up against locals, you know? There wasn't much police could do if they were sneaking around under the cover of darkness. The battle labeled the entire map of Hinuizawa village around the dam construction site enemy territory. No matter how alert the police were, the locals would just show them exactly how easy it was to sneak around. Actually, it was after the police upped security that the protesters started getting ever more extreme, as though they were being provoked. Wait, fucked up how every mode of creating energy are just different ways to move water. Coal, dams, nuclear. You're kind of right. Water is lifeblood. Water is the creation of everything, you know? Water is sacred, I think. See here? Can you tell how many things started to heat up? Can you tell how things started to heat up? An office set on fire. The destruction of heavy construction equipment. Destruction? They couldn't have used explosives. No way. See, they crammed gas tanks full of sugar cubes. If they do that, it fouls the engines. Even in Japan, it seemed that there had been people doing that to the vehicles of occupying forces right after the war. Compared to misdemeanors like breaking windows, it was extremely violent and aggressive. So what you're saying is, we should kill people in the name of water. No, that is not what I'm saying whatsoever. I mean, look, if people happen to die in the pursuit of energy, there's not much we can help, right? Because, like, greater good and all that, right? It's fine, It's fine, right? Water's our god, and those who deny it may as well die. Yeah, sure, why not? Eco-fascistic. I mean, true, that is true. Look, I don't believe any of what I'm saying. I'm just doing it for the funnies, I swear to God. Alright? You can't hold me up any in court, okay? Anyway, after being toyed around to that extent, the local police have completely lost face. The arson was a bit much. After that, the local police drastically increased the number of personnel they had stationed around the clock. The raids on the construction site quieted down a bit after that. He used the words quieted down, but that was still smack dab in the middle of the list of crimes. See, after they found that attacking the site had become difficult, they started resorting to personal attacks. First people targeted were the construction workers. Bro, not the construction workers! They're just doing their jobs! Like, they were hired to do a job. It's not like a personal vendetta. But I guess from their point of view, it's like, oh, you could just choose not to work there, you know? Just don't work there and you won't be supporting these evil people. right? Popular eco-fascist VTuber declares war on Canada. Home of the damned. Oh my god, that would be so funny if true. You know, if VTuber will ever be coming in the paper. Okay. After that, there was silence. What was being described to me was a guerrilla war fought in the jungle. Threats and violence against the workers. Harsh words and harsher rocks were thrown. There's quite a list of accusations here, but there's not a whole lot of convictions. Of course not. First of all, there's no witnesses. Top of that, even if we identify the perpetrators, they have alibis coming out of the woodwork. What do you mean by that? Well, of course, they're all protecting each other. They'll all be like, ah, yes, I saw them here at this time. Haha, you know? They're all protecting each other. You can't trust a thing they say. Take, for example, walking around Hinamizawa. When a certain man stabs you with a knife. You remember the person clearly and even know his name and address. However, the knife doesn't have any fingerprints on it, and there's no other physical evidence. Well, you'd think this would be a run-of-the-mill case of assault, wouldn't you? In Hinamizawa, though, it's a perfect crime. Everybody is, the entire village, they're all in on it. To protect the man who's the perpetrator, they'll get their story straight and prepare an alibi. To that end, they'll probably even forge some evidence. There's nothing they can do but put them on trial. Top of there not being any material evidence, though, people testify one after another to cover his side of the story. Any prosecutor would hesitate to file charges. Not sure about murder, but if it's something like opening a gash on somebody's forehead with a thrown rock, or leaving a bruise after hitting someone, even if you could single out the suspect, there's enough reasonable doubt to not convict. Every case is without a doubt perpetrated by someone in Hinamizawa, but they can't identify who. Even if they could figure out who it is, they're unable to obtain enough circumstantial evidence through due process. Villagers were extremely well informed about this, and so the malicious, vicious, and tenacious personal attacks continued. They're smart, aren't they? Hinamizawa, the big cult of a village, isn't it? The victims can't have been okay with that, right? Couldn't they have filed for an appeal? Well, you see, about that, everybody on the inquest committee didn't want to get involved with something so troublesome. They won't stick their noses into anything related to Hinamizawa. The inquest committee is comprised of a random selection of local residents. In the event the prosecutor fails to get a conviction, they still have the power to order a retrial. It's a system designed to assert the will of the people on the actions of expert prosecutors in the legal world. Just, backed by the Yakuza, they know how to deal with cops, aka based. True. Yeah. In this case, however, being comprised of local residents has backfired. They don't want to get involved? Why is that? How do I explain this? We could say they're afraid, since it's a little special there. Special? It's an outcast committee? Is it an outcast committee? No, it's a little different from that. Well, just think of it as them being afraid. It's a little hard to explain it just now. Oh right, there is an easier way. Wiping his forehead with a handkerchief, he opened a file labeled as a list of members in the Onigafushi Defense Alliance. Power of the Onigafushi Defense Alliance, you see. Drumroll please, show me the Sonazakis! Oh, never mind. Is it the fact that they count many people among their members who are influential in neighboring areas? Could you take a look at this? I looked. What I saw startled me. Prefectural and municipal community members, staff members of the Chamber of Commerce, executive of business association, executive of a town council association, and a PTA liaison. There are more than a few people with a lot of say in both locally and the neighboring regions. Around here, you can pretty much expect your actions to be observed by those against the dam project. If you said something in its support, who knows how it would work out to your disadvantage. In any case, every town in the area is being held by the throat by somebody from Hinamizawa. The list of Inquisition committee members is undisclosed, isn't it? There has to be some measures in place to make sure they avoid retribution, no? Well, it is undisclosed, so their privacy is assured, but The person in charge of that is from the Okinomiya Municipal Office. In other words, a local. While you might expect some professional confidentiality, you can't know how everybody's connected. People from Himatsubushi have a lot of tight bonds in that regard. When you consider the obligations and duties people have to the region, the web of information thereby formed is nothing to scoff at. It's not uncommon for housewives in a neighborhood to know which kid is which house, is what grade, and which school, what subjects they're good at, and what vegetables they hate, among other things. You see, there's a Yakuza organization here with strong ties to Himatsubushi and the surrounding area. It seemed that they're providing full support in these recent incidents. Seem to be proving most effective.
Gangsters? Siding together with the residents opposed to the construction of the dam?
No way. It's a little hard to see what their common interest is. It's not that difficult at all. You see, actually, one of the lieutenants in the gang is originally from Hinamizawa. He was adopted into a rather influential family in the village. Exactly what was this Hinamizawa? I thought it was some desolate rustic village. However, for some reason they exerted a strong influence in the surrounding areas and had a strong sense of unity. They would protect their village by any means necessary, even if it meant resorting to violence. Chief had said they were afraid because there were numerous influential people living there. Somehow, I got the feeling they were afraid of the village itself. Something clearly different from what I had read in the documents in Tokyo. This was no simple residential protest against the dam. For some reason, an uneasy feeling began to nestle itself in the back of my mind. I chose the most basic way to ask my question. In other words, I directly asked what I wanted to know. Chief, this is just a hypothetical situation, but... Huh? This Onigafuchi Defense Alliance? In order to halt the dam project, do you think they could, say, threaten somebody important to accomplish that? Chief replied immediately. It's possible. Truth be told, they've already gone to municipal and prefectural offices, as well as local offices of Ministry of Construction, and done things that could be considered intimidation. Several of the workers' families have also reported that they're being followed around by some suspicious people. Well, that would make sense. To halt progress on the dam, they raided the construction site, destroying heavy machinery and lighting the construction office on fire. If they didn't have any qualms about doing that, threats and violence against the people related to the dam would probably be no problem. But that was it. Even your everyday hoodlum could use threats and violence. However, this time it was a kidnapping of a minister's grandson, an abnormally high-level crime. Not only was pulling off the kidnapping difficult in the first place, but so was maneuvering to have the minister surrender to their demands immediately. There was no way this was the work of amateurs. These people have the power to enact this large of a crime? That was at the heart of the matter. Was the Onigafushi Defense Alliance an organization capable of pulling this off? In order to ask that question, once again, chose the most basic method. Again, hypothetically, do you think they could kidnap a relative of someone of the political importance? There was no way they could pull off something that big. That was the answer I most hoped for. If it was that answer, my work would be as good as halfway done. I might be able to get back in time for my wife to give birth. That was how it was supposed to be. Chief, without a hint of hesitation, replied, "They just might. There's no telling how far they go." Sorry, Yukie. Seemed like my work wouldn't end so simply after all. I hope nothing bad happens to Yukie, actually. Now that I think about it, if this guy is sticking his head into this business and Hinamizawa starts noticing, I'm scared for him. Oh, Akasaka-kun. Good work. How's the information gathering at the XX Prefectural Office? It's coming along. Seems like I'll be able to meet with their local public safety department, so planning on heading out that way. How's the investigation in Tokyo going? The others are progressing along, but the number of groups we have to investigate are countless. Time isn't really a luxury here. There are no new developments at this time. No matter how suspicious the Onagabuchi Defense Alliance was, if they solved the case in Tokyo, my job was done. Looked like my wishful thinking wouldn't come to pass. Hanging up the phone, I let my gaze drift outside the windowed valley of unfamiliar buildings. Akasaka-san, a car you could borrow just returned. Take you to it, so follow me. Ah, thank you. He showed me the elevator to the underground parking lot where the battered sedan was waiting for me. The steering wheel kept drifting to the left was a little concerning, but it would be enough to get me around for a while. My destination was Shishibone City, XX Prefecture. An area under the control of the Onagabuchi Defense Alliance. The Okinomiya police station was right on the front lines. I'm scared. I'm really scared for this guy. I know he doesn't die because, 7 years into the future, right? We see him. But I'm still very afraid for his well-being. And not even just him, His hecking wife and their hecking child. Shishibone City was, as far as provincial cities went, rather behind the times. Okinomiya, recessed in the mountains, was even more remote. With little change between the seasons, all that was left was the tepid passage of time, made for a rather drab town. There were no tourist attractions or local delicacies, not even a strong regional industry. It was simply dull. Just looking at the monotonous and peaceful townscape, it was hard to catch a glimpse of the radical resistance of the Onagabuchi Defense Alliance. The atmosphere of boredom didn't hint of the Okinomiya police station being on the front lines of the dam conflict, nor of the numerous incidents that I had heard about at the prefectural headquarters. Why am I freaking struggling so hard? Jesus Christ. How am I today? I'm alright. I played Just Dance before this, so that was pretty cool. Good morning. Are you here to pay a fine? No, I have an appointment with Motodai from the Public Safety Division. Please tell him it's Akasaka. My apologies. Please wait a minute. He's stuttering. I'm sus. The clerk, who I thought I was waiting for the parking violation at first glance, after fumbling with the unfamiliar extension number, told the person on the line they had a visitor. Welcome, welcome! Akasaka-san, was it? Must have been tiring traveling out all this way. Sorry I have to do this here. I tried to reserve a reception room, you see. The counselor suddenly woke up and chased me out. Wait. Is this Oishi? I would hesitate to call where we were a conference room, as it was very small and cluttered. The damn space was packed with lockers. I had the impression I was more of a change room that doubled as one for smoking. Listening to his crude chortles, I didn't get much of a feeling that Motodai, who had heard of the local public safety division, was much of an intellectual. No, that's not Oishi, but, that's hilarious. But I knew that, in exchange, he had both experience and absolute confidence in his instincts. I apologize for interrupting you during such a busy time. I'm Akasaka from the Metropolitan Police Department. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Motodai from the Public Safety Division. Nice to meet you. I was threatened by Sankai from prefectural gangbusters to be generous with my cooperation. Whoa, ha 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 ha, ha ha, ha ha. Gangbusters? You mean the Prefectural Crime Prevention Division? You see, we're treating the Onagabuchi Defense Alliance as an extension of the local Yakuza. That's kind of smart. You have to be a newbie if you think they're just a residential protest group. They said that at the prefectural office too, that the Onagabushi Defense Alliance was linked to a local mob. If I recall correctly, the adopted son of somebody influential was a lieutenant in that gang. It's the other way around. Complete opposite. The Yakuza put up the protest group as a front to justify their actions. Just think of it like that. Completely the other way around. Ha 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 ha. Motodai was just rolling around with laughter. This was slightly different than the info given to me at the prefectural office. Somebody embedded locally would be more knowledgeable. While we were talking, occasionally some people who seemed to be detectives would come in and change. One of those individuals, noticing Motodai's guffaws, came to us. I was wondering what you guys were talking about. Ah, what a king. Oh, a new bop? What? New tunes just for Oishi? Interesting. Oh, Kudo-chan. Perfect timing. Why don't you join us? This year's Inspector Akasaka came all the way from Tokyo Police Department. An inspector? I'm still a rookie. My name is Akasaka. Pleased to meet you. Must be nice to be so fresh-faced. Did they hire you this year? I couldn't help but think I was being ridiculed, so I only responded with a forced smile. I could tell that this new person was like Motodai, the type who had confidence in their instincts and experience. I really didn't like those types of people. Let me introduce you, Akasaka-san. This is Oishi-kun from our investigative department. Regarding the S-file you're talking about, he's familiar with it. S-file? S for Sonozaki. Something is an S-file. It means it has something to do with the Sonozaki family. Something of a code name. Sonozaki? Come to think of it, I remembered when I was poring over the documents at headquarters. There are a few people with the last name Sonozaki popping up. If I remember right, this Sonozaki was one of the executives of the Onagafushi Defense Alliance. Pretty sure that they're the treasurer. Two of them were surprised when I rattled off what post that Sonozaki held. After a moment, both of them erupted into laughter. Akasaka-san, was it? You're quite the studious one. You've memorized all the central figures in the Alliance? I wouldn't say memorized exactly. I've at least read the list of Onagafushi Defense Alliance executives. Then who are the president and vice president? President is the mayor of Himatsubushi, Kei Kimiyoshi. Vice president is the priest of local shrine, Furude. The treasurer is O Sonozaki and the auditor is Makino. The liaison is Y Kimiyoshi and the PR head is Y Sonozaki. Bruh, how do you freaking remember all this? Jesus Christ, you were given the document like 2 hours ago. Akasaka-san, you're pretty good. Pay sucks, but you want to work here? You're just the type we're looking for. By the way, Yoshio Sonozaki is the head of the youth department. So close. The head of public relations is actually Tadayoshi Sonozaki. Feeling like I wasn't being complimented at all, I started settling into an uncomfortable mood. However, I was becoming more and more aware that I was the weakest link in this investigation, so I just had to bear with it. Didn't mean for the feeling to show up on my face, but the crafty detectives wouldn't let that slip by. I didn't mean to make fun of you. To make up for it, why don't I show you around the village? For somebody with no feel for an area like me, it would be a great help. Yeah, neither can I, Phantom. Neither can I. I couldn't have asked for more. In the end, the Onagafushi Defense Alliance is nothing more than an alias for Himisawa is using to deal with the outside world. I think getting to know the village would speed up your work. How about it? The residential movement, in other words, held influence over the whole region. So the leader of the movement was the leader of that influence. Just like that, the thought process of the region would become an overall personality of the movement. Just like Oishi said, in order to learn what they were really like, this regional force behind the dam protests, getting to know the village was the quickest way. If you would, nodding back without skipping a beat, Oishi laughed in satisfaction and stood up. Much of the information I learned at the prefectural office and from Motodai to heart. If my position was exposed and my personal safety was at risk. So freaking long. My personal safety was at risk. The opponent to me was the extremist group that had no qualms about using threats of violence against somebody. My personal info was leaked. Wouldn't it be hard to imagine I'd be in danger, whether on the job or not? Thinking that, I felt a little nervous. These guys are quick to remember faces. If you're seen with me, they'll probably do a lot to hinder your work. This might be a little cliche, but put these on. Oishi handed me an incredibly suspicious disguise comprised of a baseball cap, sunglasses, and a mask. I didn't want to get all hot and stuffy, but Oishi's warning was probably right on the money. Considering that, I put them on with appreciation. I looked so suspicious that Oishi had to smile wryly. How much did I tell you again? Let's see. To the part you were talking about how these three ancient families control the village. Oh, have a good shower, Phantom. Get on nice and clean. The Onagafachi Defense Alliance was the same as the village of Himatsubushi itself. Meanwhile, meaning there was a direct correlation between being executive of the alliance and being a leader in the village, as Motodai had told me a short time ago. If the village was ruled by three ancient families, there would be the Onagafachi Defense Alliance was ruled by those same three families. What do the documents at the prefectural office say about the leader of the Defense Alliance or whatnot? Documents I was using were classified. I responded to Oishi's questions would be a breach of security. However, most likely, this man, I judged, was more well-versed in the situation than any of the documents of the prefectural police department, so I decided to answer him. That of the president of the alliance is the current mayor of the village, Kichiro Kimiyoshi. Oishi, upon hearing that, let out a small chuckle. For him to ask like that and to laugh at the answer as it was recorded in the documents meant that wasn't the case in reality. So then that means there's somebody else other than Kimiyoshi behind the scenes? Contrary to what the prefectural office thinks, or rather, what's commonly known. Old man Kimiyoshi is nothing more than a figurehead. In the first place, the post of mayor in the village is nothing more than ceremonial. In other words, there's something else in charge of both the alliance and the village? Would that be the three families we just talked about? Well, I'll explain that part right now. All of a sudden, with a thunk, the car suddenly lurched. The paved road had given way to a gravel one. At the same time, the scenery outside the window changed. The Himatsubushi Dam project must be withdrawn. Overthrow the shameless puppet of a governor. The dam will submerge the natural beauty of Himatsubushi. Protect the village from the unethical dam. Fear the wrath of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Demolish the dam. Those who involved must go away. Must go away. The construction office must respond. The office manager XX must negotiate with us. Signs and banners crowded the roadside. Even reading the brush-scrawled words was daunting. It was as though the road was just changed was a border with a different country. At that moment, I was startled by a car suddenly braking. Looking ahead, a barricade had been erected. About 5 or 6 protesters wearing masks and helmets to hide their faces were blocking the road, yelling at us angrily to stop. What is this? A checkpoint? These guys never learn. Oishi snorted as he rolled down the window and leaned out. Hey, you guys, you can't be blocking the road like this here. As Oishi glared at them with a malicious laugh, they visibly faltered. Clear the way. We can't get by like this. Who would have thought it was Oishi's car? That panicked thought seemed to make them lose their presence of mind. If we had known it was your car, Detective Oishi, we wouldn't have been so rude. Detective, what happened to your usual car? Is it in for maintenance? Something like that. I just can't get used to this car they loaned me. Judging from the brief conversation, I could guess that they were familiar with the license plate of the car Oishi normally used. In other words, if they knew the car belonged to the police, they would have hidden the barricade. What they were doing was an obviously obstruction of traffic, a blatant crime. Who's that suspicious guy? Could you show us your face? The man glared at me menacingly. Wearing a mask and sunglasses made me look particularly dubious. Would not showing me my face get me into some unnecessary trouble? I turned to Oishi to see what I should do. Give him a break. He's still a shy little rookie. We just wanted to make sure he wasn't somebody suspicious. Himazawa has been a bit of a stir as of late. I can't show my face. I'm ugly. You'll die if you see me. I'm so ugly. My god, your face will melt off. Have you looked at yourself in the mirror? That mask you're wearing is way more suspicious. Ha 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 ha. The men and Oishi continued to talk like that, feigning smiles at one another. However, from the beginning to the end, I couldn't get over the feeling I was sitting on a power keg. Has the number of trucks illegally dumping still not decreased? It's a real hassle dealing with it all the time. But please could understand and cooperate, it would really help. During that conversation, the barricade was moved, leaving a gap wide enough for a single cart to get through. Oh my god, give me a second. My heckin' kitty's meowing at the door. Bruh, I'm coming, chill. Now I have kitty. Where's the kitty cam? Okay. During that conversation, the barricade was moved, leaving a gap wide enough for a single car to get through. Oishi lightly honked the horn once and began to roll the car forward. I could see the men's antagonistic glares at the back of the car in the rearview mirror. Nampy! Bruh, you only got like an hour left. You want to use that up? But if you say so, sir, I will do Nampy. Oh, I get it. It's because the freaking cat. Right? That's why. Because my freaking cat showed up, so now I must become one with the cat. I see. I see. This is the real cat can. I get it. I get it. I get your jokes. I could see the men's antagonistic glares at the back of the rearview mirror. What was that just now? Blocking a public road like that? Of course it's a crime. Still, if you get worked up over that, it'll never end. Those guys, see, claim there's an infestation of trucks illegally dumping in the village. The story goes like that. In order to stop that, they're halting suspicious vehicles for inspection. Illegal dumping? Like corrupt contractors just tossing industrial waste away? The line of argument is that if the police aren't going to do anything about it, they'll take matters into their own hands. Well, the industrial waste is something they're doing themselves anyways. By themselves? They have a pretty good strategy. You see, in order to hinder construction, they've spread industrial waste all over by the dam site. Then, blaming it on corrupt contractors, they start instituting these inspections. There, they stop every construction vehicle coming through and interfere with them as much as possible. So then, it's one of the methods the Onagafushi Defense Alliance is using. With that inspection just now, this car's license plate has probably been reported. Shouldn't get stopped from here on out. Those guys know very well not to get me angry. See, rumors that they figure a car is related to the construction in some way. Not only would there be trap points stopping at every turn, they'd be throwing rocks and planting road spikes as well. It's best you be careful so you're not identified. If they find out you're from public safety, who knows what you'll suffer through. Wish it was acting like they were talking about something fun, but for me it was no laughing matter. Almost feel like we've wandered into a civil war in the Middle East. That's a good way of putting it. It's pretty much what you just said. Wish you turned to me with a grin and menacing laugh. You see, this here's a war zone. Clark slowed down a bit as we went through a narrow road through some farmland. See that house in the forest over there? That antiquated? Yes, antiquated one. Looking at where Oishi was pointing, there certainly was an old, traditionally designed house. I caught the shower ghost slacking and said, "What? Too bad my shower curtains are destroyed." What? I think I see what you're putting down, but I'm not very sure about it. The ghost does see. The Gussie? Yeah, sure, why not? That belongs to the mayor, old man Kimiyoshi. You could say it belongs to the main Kimiyoshi house as well. A lot of branches, but they'd be one of the three families. Three families? The ancient families that control Himizawa? That's right. One of the others is the Furude family. Their house doesn't even have a single branch, as all that's left is the head priest's family. Right over there, there's the shrine. He's the priest there. By the way, the Defense Alliance office is on the grounds of that shrine. The office of the Onagabashi Defense Alliance. I probably should have put joke. Nah, I know you meant joke. I just don't get the joke because I'm dumb, you know? Yeah. If these guys were the enemy, that would make the shrine their stronghold. Can we go look over there? The shrine is by the Furude's family private property, you see. Being police, we can't set foot in there without a warrant. See, they've got a member of the Dai with ties to the village backing them up. Basically, being the police has just strange sand weaknesses. Gotta put my freaking phone on the charger. Kitty, keep messing it up. Stop stepping on my freaking phone! It's charging! Oh my god. This is what happens when you have a freaking small kitty running amok. You never had a feeling of a monster or ghost being outside the shower while you're showering? Oh, that's what you meant! Okay, I get it. No, I've definitely had that happen. I've definitely had that happen before. It's the spookiest hecking feeling, and that's why I never shower without the curtain open. I'm not closing that freaking curtain, okay? You never know what's on the other side. Alright? Well, even when we talk about the three families, that's something from a long time ago. Way back when, those three families used to hold councils to decide things about the village. Meaning, it's different now? Hey, Reigns, what's going on? You've got a pretty good nose. That's why I expect you from an academic. Car braked to a halt with a squeal. Ahead of where we were stopped were several signs. Private property beyond, no trespassing. Beware of poisonous snakes. Danger, turn back. Intruders will be charged with an entry fee of 1 million yen. Jesus Christ. 1 million? Big yikes. Signs were erected there with things like that written on them. The road was separated from the forest by a chain link fence wrapped in barbed wire. Since this is private property, this is as far as we go. There's several surveillance cameras set up further in. Shut up, East. Oh my god. Saying that we just got lost wouldn't work with these guys. We're beyond here, right? People currently controlling Himizawa and the Onagabashi Defense Alliance were neither the Kimiyoshi family nor the Furude family, but the last of the three. Yeah. Beyond here is one of the three families, the Sonozaki family. They're the ones controlling Himizawa from the shadows. Among the list of executives recorded in the documents, the number of people with the last names from the three families was quite high. Of course, Sonozaki was no exception. However, at the top was the Kimiyoshi family. If the Kimiyoshi family seemed to be in charge, the rulers behind the scenes were the Sonozaki family. My computer was wiped. That sucks, bruh. Did it go through the freaking rain? Did you put it in the dishwasher? Get cleaned of all of its data? This double-layered structure implicitly told me that this village had both a light and a dark side. Current head of the Sonozaki family is an old lady named Odio. She has enough clout that you could call her Empress Sonozaki. Clout? Is that a thing that you said in 2004? I thought clout was a new-ish term from like 5 years ago. What the heck? Be careful, she's no small fry. She's enough of VIP that even the mayor of the city has to bow before her. Well, in Hinamizawa and the surrounding area, their relatives amount to a block of several thousand votes. No politician could show disrespect for that. In other words, that would make her the actual leader of the Onagabashi Defense Alliance, right? You've got it. Those words, Oishi pulled out a well-worn cigarette box. The suspected kidnapping of the minister's grandchild and subsequent threats. Were these part of the hidden plot by the Onagabashi Defense Alliance in order to have the Hinamizawa Dam project cancelled? You came all the way from Tokyo to investigate this, didn't you? Huh? Yeah. That's right. Something the matter? Ah, then. Is it related to the direct appeal incident with the Minister Inugai? that's the case, the public safety has them marked on the watch list. Something like that? Having you guess that so quickly makes this easy. While exhaling a cigarette smoke, Oishi smiled broadly, like I just put a good one on him. Or so I thought. The smile disappeared suddenly. That's a lie, isn't it? Huh? I mean, the direct appeal putting them on a watch list. That's a lie, isn't it? Uh, 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 uh. Oishi knew there was no way that Tokyo HQ would dispatch an investigator over something as minor as a direct appeal. If they were to dispatch someone, it had to be for a more dire reason. He had figured out that much. I thought of myself as the type of person who doesn't let things show on their face. In front of his watchful gaze, however, I felt that what I was thinking was completely laid bare. Oishi silently lit another cigarette, as if waiting for me to interject during this awkward pause. I see. So, this was a veteran detective's way of getting someone to spill information. But as long as I realized this, there would be nothing more. If I didn't open my mouth, I wouldn't have to lose anything. All I had to do was stare out the window and enjoy the scenery until Oishi gave up. You really are bad at hiding things, you know. Being so young and earnest isn't so bad. Oishi smirked as he twisted out his third cigarette, while I tried not to let him notice I had yielded completely. At first I thought I had won, but at the very least, Oishi had ascertained that I was hiding something, meaning that I might have ended up marching to his tune. Oishi's just too good. Oishi started up the engine once again and began to move the car. If you'd just been honest with me, I thought I might have been able to help you. How would you help? The cat was out of the bag. You might as well use it to catch some mice. Well, it depends on what we're talking about, but I might be able to set you up with someone who's knowledgeable about the goings-on in Himizawa. An informant? I see, is that what you call it? Why are you interested in my case, Oishi-san? Well, I'm the same as you. Isn't our business to know things? Being able to meet with Oishi's informant was an extremely compelling opportunity. We were looking to recruit somebody familiar with the area to collaborate with for intelligence. In the end, there's no better method for finding people than asking. We're always taught, however, that the rank-and-file police were no better than monkeys. Unlike us, they were careless with confidential cases. We looked down on them like they'd run their mouth off in drunken stupor. Oishi was an outlaw even amongst them, and here I was lost on whether or not I should tell him about the kidnapping of the minister's grandson. Cow was out of the bag. This informant, exactly how knowledgeable are they about the Onagabashi Defense Alliance? If you're from public safety, you'd know, wouldn't you? Something like that is something I just can't tell you. Protect your sources. That was the first principle of dealing with confidential information. In that regard, it seemed that Oishi wasn't one of those monkeys. I should trust him, ask for his help, or not. Should I trust him? It's just that you work for the feds and I work for the prefecture. I don't think our jobs are that different. I think I could be of help. However, I had trouble believing that his crafty old man would simply help me just like he claimed. I find it hard to believe that someone of your standing would help me out without strings attached. Well, it's not like I'm completely without an ulterior motive. As I recall, you guys have your space in your budget allocated to pay informants, right? Something you don't need to submit a receipt for. Just a little bit of that would be the cost of meeting with the informant. In other words, give me the compensation earmarked for the informant to you first. Well, if that helps, the details of this deal are so clear-cut. Certainly was something else for being able to brazenly stare his ulterior motive like this. Rather than him doing it out of the kindness of his heart, everything was a lot clearer if he was being compensated for this deal. I felt he was the type of man who was good at these backroom dealings. Don't misunderstand me, please. It's not me who needs the money, it's the informant, alright, okay? Well, in regards to the payment, I'll be handling the money. Well, and do you want it? Right now would be good. If you don't have it on you, tomorrow works as well. Pulled out a wallet that was different from my personal one. Price was pretty much fixed depending on what kind of information I was paying for. In this case, the payment was up front. Also considering the fact that I didn't know what kind of info I'd get, I shouldn't pay too much. When I suggested that, Oishi suddenly stretched out his hand and tightly grabbed the contents of the wallet. Times like this, it's best not to be so stingy. It's alright, it won't go to waste. I understand, I won't be stingy. And, what kind of information are you looking for? Depending on what you want, how we can approach this will probably change. Swear you won't spread this information to anybody else, Oishi-san? I can't swear as much. I'm the same as you. Can't withhold information obtained during the course of my duties. I got it, I swear. Nothing here gets said anywhere else. On top of that, thanks to you, I can pay back what I owe for my mahjong debts. In any case, I won't break a promise that involves money. Dude, you said that you weren't getting the money, and the money was going to the informant, you freaking liar. Oh my god. I was still unsure if I should trust him until the very last moment, but in the end, I broke down. Oishi wasn't the type of guy I could trust 100%, but there was no mistaking he had access to the underground information networks. In order to accomplish my mission swiftly, I needed his cooperation. Set my resolve. Investigating whether or not this Onigafuchi Defense Alliance is related to a certain incident. Certain incident? There's a possibility that a Minister of Construction, Inugai, is being coerced by someone. Saying there's a possibility is kind of a roundabout way of putting it. It appears there's a mole close to the Minister. Due to that mole, the Minister has been monitored quite thoroughly, and was seemingly forced to cede to the threats right away. None of this was reported to us or the police. I see. So that's why you're saying there's only a possibility he's being coerced. In that case, isn't it a little strange? The Minister didn't report this to anybody. How would you guys know about this incident? If we didn't spy on the Minister's private life, we would have never found out. I don't think we have to provide that explanation to the informant, so I'm admitting it. Oishi had apparently caught on, and quietly chuckled when I refused to explain. I see. There's a spy close to the Minister, so public safety made it a highly classified investigation. That certainly isn't a very amicable story, is it? If this matter became public, not only would this affect the Minister's political career, but the possibility of there being a shift in the political landscape is extremely high. The perpetrator's aim is indeed that. Then this could develop into a very grave situation. Well, with the government having development projects all over the country, they butted heads with quite a few people. It wouldn't take much wrongdoing for the left-wing parties to suddenly garner our support. We're currently investigating on what demands are being forced on the Minister. But at least we have a good idea of how he's being threatened. Oh. The Minister's grandson was kidnapped. They're denying it, but judging from when he was last seen, it's believed it's already been over 72 hours since the kidnapping. So, 3 days. They were just after ransom money, this would have been settled by now. Maybe this isn't for monetary gain. The possibility that they're forcing the Minister to do something politically is extremely high. That's something we just can't consent to. So then, Onigafuchi Defense Alliance was listed as one of the possible perpetrators? That is correct. Kidnap the Minister's grandson and demand the cancellation of the dam project? What do you think, Oishi-san? From your point of view, do you think that's possible? Oishi seemed to ponder the idea for a while. Section chief of the regional office has responded immediately with, "It's possible." However, Oishi, who was this well informed about the matter, was hemming and hawing. Finally, just a little bit, he said something that was really just a little bit strange. This was before the Meiji era, you see. This area wasn't named Hinamizawa Village back then. It was called Onigafuchi. This is just what I heard from my grandmother. This topic was so completely and suddenly unrelated to the topic of the kidnapping of the Minister's grandson, I was taken aback slightly. They're demons! I love that. Do you think it's possible that they could kidnap somebody? Well, you see, back in the day, they were demons. So, yes, You could just say yes. You don't need this explanation. Onigafuchi? Oh, so that's where they call the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance. You see, the village of Onigafuchi is said to be inhabited by demons that devoured humans. Even now, it's believed that the blood of these demons partially courses through the veins of the villagers. The demons that devour humans? Oishi-san, what are you saying? It's information. I got a lot from you just now. A little too much. In exchange, I'm giving you a little freebie. Oishi finally smiled, but it seemed like he was fooling around. Please continue. You see, these human-devouring demons, normally they were revered as Taoist transcendents, and lived tucked away from the rest of the world. But they ate people, after all, so apparently they'd go to the villages in the foothills regularly to abduct their prey. They used to call them that being demoned away, or onikakushi. Demoned away? It was the first time I've heard such a peculiar phrase. However, I felt something slightly ominous from this horrifying tale of demons abducting people in order to eat them. Look, you know how there's a common phrase, spirited away? Hey, it's that one movie! I wonder if that movie in Japanese is onikakushi. Probably, right? If demon blood flows through the villagers, who boned or got boned by a demon? Probably 50% of them, at least. Maybe 75%. Maybe 100% of them. You know? They were probably getting that demussy, you know? Or like big demon dick, you know? When people suddenly go missing one day, they call it that. When the same thing happens around here, they call it being demoned away. How does that old tale relate to the matter at hand? Oh no, there's no direct relationship. I'm just making some small talk here. It's just... Ka-thump, ka-thump. The car shook. At some point, the gravel road had changed to a paved one. It's just what? But around here, the phrase demoned away is somewhat of code for disappearances and kidnappings. Thought I'd mention that. Oh! Oh my god! What the heck? I just thought I'd mention that. Oishi! Are you saying the freaking minister's grandson was demoned away? Wowie. Wowie. Wow, okay. Yikes. I don't know if this has anything to do with the kidnapping of the minister's grandson. Well, there's no deep meaning behind it. It's just, there's a little bit of history. Onikakushi. Human-eating demons coming down to the foothills and abducting their prey. Then, in order to cancel the dam project that threatening to submerge the village they lived in, did they demon away the minister's grandson? Then, they had already made an example out of the minister's grandson and eat him alive? Okay, maybe not that far. It's a bit of an interesting old tale, isn't it? You set foot into the demon's village without reason, you'll promptly be captured and eaten alive. So don't go near Unigafuchi. Kids these days wouldn't have these superstitions, would they? Even amongst the older folk in Okinomiya born in the Meiji era, there's quite a few who wouldn't heed these warnings. Miyazawa village was feared by the people in the area. I recalled that piece of information I heard from the Prefectural Public Safety Division. In any case, we're in the boonies out here. Kind of expected there'd be some superstitions around. Somebody from Tokyo like you, Akasaka-san, probably wouldn't even begin to imagine it, could you? The man-eating demons, as price for violating the sanctity of their village, kidnapped the minister's grandson and swallowed him whole. That ludicrous idea flew through my head. It was so absurd that I was half disgusted with myself. Oishi was just teasing me. Stupid. It was all really so stupid. Come to think of it, by then, I may have already been seized by the curse of that dubious village. For me to realize that would take a little more time. How many chapters are in this chapter? Because there's like sub-chapters and junk. Wait. Okay. Tips. Okay, so okay. Got it. Save. End of chapter 1. They got a lot of tips. Phone call with Yukie. Record of opening remarks. Gears and fire and the taste of honey. Jesus Christ. A chick in the trunk! The chick in the trunk! Huh? Bruh? What? Okay, let's just go through these one by one. Phone call with Yukie. Google says 2 chapters? What? Wait, there's 2 chapters in this whole chapter? So we're already freaking halfway done? Like, I knew it was short, but I didn't think it was that short. Wow. Oh, really? It's tough when it's such a sudden assignment. Please be careful. Where are you headed? You already there? Time-wasting chapter? No way, you joke. That can't be the name of the chapter. You're lying. No way, the name of the chapter is Time-Wasting Chapter. No. Whenever I had on assignment, she would ask where. Not just Yukie, but anybody would have asked the same question. If it was a cold place, she would urge me back to pack a thick jacket. If it was far, she'd warn me to be careful on the drive over. It was just normal, everyday concern that led to asking such an obvious thing. I felt sad that I couldn't answer such a run-of-the-mill question. Sorry, it's something that you can't talk about, isn't it? Please be careful. Sorry, Yukie. At some point, you started apologizing right away. Even though when you first started your job, you were all gung-ho about it. Yukie laughed as though she realized something. Times like this, Yukie had the magical power to see right through me. It's already been quite a while since I was admitted to the hospital. Are you finally getting lonely? Don't tease me. I'm too old to get lonely. You really? You actually like to be doted on, don't you? Don't you start getting a little faint of heart when I'm not around? Hee. Aw, jeez. I can see a little double horn sprouting from your head right now. You've always been like this. You can't hide it. You can't hide it. If I don't play with you, you'll get all lonely. I can hear your tail wagging over the phone. Hee. The sight of Yukie wasn't something you could guess existed from her usual modest behavior, but it was something that she didn't show to anyone else but me. Normally I'd poke her to hide my embarrassment and bring an end to the conversation, but I couldn't do that over the phone. Of course, Yukie was clever. She was teasing me because of that. I wonder when I figured out that giving you grief was so much fun. Give me a break. In any case, it's good to hear you so lively. I know, right? Did I cheer you up? I'd called Yukie to keep her from feeling lonely when she was by herself in the hospital room. Of course, that was nothing more than a pretense that I, being shy, had come up with. It seemed that Yukie had long since been seen through that act. Yeah. Please phone again. When I'm not feeling up to it, I'll get my father to talk with you. Although, if you're talking with my father, I get the feeling that you'd be staring at attention on the other side of the line. For a while longer, Yukie kept teasing me without letting me end the call. Aw, that's so cute. I'm sure nothing bad will happen. I'm sure that nothing will happen to her, or him, or them. A record of opening remarks. Chairman XX. Come on, clicky flick. Members of the XX party. Congratulations are due, as we are celebrating 25 years since our founding. These past 25 years have seen much growth in XX Prefecture. The once quiet scenery of nothing but fields now has seen the opening of a new shop for the bullet train. And with the development of the highway, we've seen a rebirth of the modern city bursting with youthful energy. We reap the benefits of the new businesses and industry, and with the special reverence of residents. Without the special reverence the residents of XX Prefecture have for the time-honored traditions, history and culture, business and industry, with these ideals in harmony, They have accomplished in growing their city into one of Japan's foremost metropolises. Of course, the development of the XX Prefecture couldn't have happened without the growth of the XX Party. We're resolved to see every one of our campaign promises to fruition, reaching our targets definitively and experimentally like arrows fired from a bow. With these arrows as the fundamental basis of the XX Party, our members have sought to pierce the obstructions preventing the happiness of the residents of XX Prefecture. But I do believe that everybody here is unlike an ordinary arrow. While being as unfaltering and straightforward, we have not neglected in seeking solutions that conform to the current day and age, while also keeping an eye on the future. An arrow, once loosed, can only fly to its loosed? You mean once shot? I don't think... Everyone here, however, is no simple arrow. Even when loosed from the bow without neglecting our studies, while employing new methods, and implementing more effective and flexible ideas, thus being able to change trajectories mid-flight, we are magical arrows. I've never heard shooting an arrow called loosing it. I guess you lose an arrow by shooting it, I guess. Modern age marches ever forward. Sometimes it marches faster than the time taken from planning to execution. The following part is nondescript. It is thought to have been ad-libbed by the minister. For example, there have recently been numerous problems with the Himatsubushi power plant project. Rather than forcing through the project solely because it was decided upon by the government, it is necessary to reflect on and adjust to the ever-changing needs of the residents, the region, and the next generation. The protests by the local residents that surround the Himatsubushi Dam, these are also the will of the people of the XX Prefecture. If you feel that there's no need to listen because the project has already been finalized, then you do nothing more than shed a poor light on Japan's post-war democracy. This is Inigai trying to stop the dam. That is what this is. Right? Following is as per the script. For the lasting happiness of the citizens of Japan and the residents of XX Prefecture, please consider these policies thoroughly. I believe, however, we have all gained something from the flexibility and foresight of the XX Party. Taking up much of your time, however, allow me to say the following to celebrate the 25th anniversary of our founding. Chairman XX, members of the XX Party in attendance, thank you very much for today. From the opening remarks of the XX Party Prefectural Forum and 25th Anniversary Celebration. Yeah, I think that was his rather poor attempt at trying to stop the dam, I think. Let me get last water. Alright, last two. I can do it. I don't know if my voice is starting to sound bad, but... you know. Gears and fire and the taste of honey. What is the taste of honey even supposed to insinuate? I don't get it, bro. Hydrate? God bless. I've been hydrating by myself this whole time. Alright. The world is filled with people blessed with relationships. Of course, that doesn't mean that everybody is connected to each other. It's obvious that on the other side of the planet, there are people laughing and crying can't possibly have an effect on you. However, in the extremely limited community of a neighborhood, that sort of connection is just a matter of fact. It's quite possible that a single remarkable event could have massive consequences inside a small community. If we were to increase that in scale, a perfect stranger on the other side of the globe might become enough of a legend to have an effect on our lives. Well, it's not always that way. Like I said at the beginning, the links between people basically aren't that relevant in the grand scheme of things. Whether some household nearby is having a steak or croquets? Yeah. It doesn't matter to me. When I put on my shoes, it doesn't matter to anybody whether I put the right one first or the left. This much the average person can understand. But actually, in reality, this is the truth. The bonds between people are quite well defined. It's not just a matter of distance, of being far or near. For example, let's say that person A's action have some effect on me. Even then, person B's actions could have absolutely no consequence in my life. Reverse also holds true. Just because the actions affect person A, that doesn't always mean that they affect person B as well. Let's put it bluntly. The bonds between people are like gears in a machine. The gear that represents me meshes with some people, but is isolated from others. There are also some who try to arguing against this. There are those people who bring up the examples of gears in a clock. Each gear, indeed, only directly meshes with one or two others. However, if you rotate one gear, the one next to it is moved, which connects to the next one, and the next, and in the end, all the gears are moving. There's logic behind this, more than enough to convince the average person. Why is this argument convincing? The answer is simple. The relationships between people are ambiguous, and can only be described conceptually. However, how the gears are connected and how their movements are chained together can't be used as a fundamental explanation, so it throws a wet blanket on that argument. So for the people who like that explanation, I'll use the example of a clock again to refute it. First of all, to say that this world is a single clock would be wrong. That is, there isn't only one clock. There exists many clocks in this world, each counting their own time. If you think about it, the idea that this world is just one big clock is the height of arrogance. Even if you use the analogy of gears to explain human relationships, then you should be able to explain it using the analogy of multiple clocks unrelated to a single gear. Neighbors A and B. A is a gear in the same clock as me, so it's best to remain civil. B is a gear in a different clock, so he doesn't really matter to me at all. That's the kind of clear distinction I'm talking about. You want to say I'm being fallacious? Let's change the analogy to something more familiar so you can understand. You've probably heard of the phrase, a fire on the opposing shore, sometime in your life, no? I've never heard that phrase, but continue. For example, if your neighbor's house was on fire, you'd probably try and help put it out, wouldn't you? It'd be awful if the fire spread and burned down your own house, after all. But what if that fire was in a town on the opposite side of a river? Would you still go out of your way to help? You would. You wouldn't, would you? Even though it would be the wrong thing to do, there's no way a fire could spread to your own house. Even if it turned into a huge conflagration, there's no relation between the houses that will spread fire to yours and those that won't. With this basic explanation, you should be able to see that the difference between the gears that are or aren't related to your own. Having said that, there's still a lot to think about, even without a river to divide it. After all, it's not a spatial problem like being on the other side of the river, is it? What the heck is that supposed to mean? I kind of got the feeling it was supposed to be like explaining a butterfly effect. Like, oh, this affects this, but I don't think I agree with what they were saying. Like, somebody can affect you even if you had no idea who that person is. You know? Yeah, but like, who decides who's in your group or not? I guess that explanation was supposed to be like, oh, this is Hinamizawa's way of thinking, right? But who is speaking there? Because they would talk about me and I get the feeling it had to be one of the main cast, but who knows? The chick in the trunk! Who is the chick in the trunk? Is it a chicken? A chicken chick? Or like a person chick? Probably, hopefully not a person chick, but who knows? The car had stopped. But he didn't know any more than that. For not only was he blindfolded, but locked in the trunk of a car. What? Adult explaining the mindset to one of the main characters who are currently children. Nah. But who is this now? Who's also chick in the trunk? He's a guy. He can't be a chick, right? Who? How could people become this powerless just by being robbed of their sight? He absolutely wouldn't have known this without experiencing it firsthand. Soon realized it was pointless to try and undo his bonds with the confines of the trunk, quickly making him lightheaded. He had no choice but let his mild torture dull his senses. That's why, when the car stopped and the unpleasant vibration ceased as the engine was killed, he couldn't help but delude himself that he was being set free, even though nothing had been resolved in reality. Perhaps he is a chicken. Perhaps. Perhaps, mayhaps. Of course, he was soon removed from that delusion. Strained his ears when he heard one of the men who abducted him, an older man he was hearing for the first time, strike up conversation. Oh! This is the kid! This is the kid! This is the minister's grandson being kidnapped. Right? Nice to see you. The chick is in the trunk. Ah, that's the code word that they're using. I see. Smart. He struggled so much that he's probably exhausted right now, but there's not a mark on him, just as ordered. Oh, must have been a handful. The trunk opened, letting a blast of fresh, cool air. Even though, up until now, I'd been thinking about getting out of that stuffy trunk, when it was actually opened, he suddenly became uneasy. Enough so that he wished that the lid of the trunk would close once again, separating himself from them. Suddenly, somebody stroked his head. Of course, since he was blindfolded, he couldn't tell if the hand was petting him or simply evaluating how easy it would be to remove his scalp. Unable to tell the difference, he could only freeze as he imagined the worst-case scenario. Poor little bugger. He's shaking. Stay calm for a bit. Is that a British? Huh? British don't exist. The older man said that kindly as he gently stroked the boy's head. Fat chat. Are you the chick in the trunk, chat? Oh, whoopsies. Yeah, you guys are the chick in the trunk. Haha. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. Here you go. Where are you? Somebody comment something so I can pet you. I'm currently kidnapped and this is a cry for help. Oh, there you go. Yay! You get the head pat. Yippee! Good for you. Even if you are kidnapped, you are being head pat, so everything is okay, right? Right. Cool. This must be real tough for ya. But you see, your Gramps is a nice man. He'll help you soon enough. Having heard nothing but the average standard dialect his whole life, the whole older man's distinct intonation left a deep impression on the boy. We had no idea what he was saying. For your Gramps to register as meaning your grandfather took a while to process. Eventually, the hand that was stroking his head loosened the blindfold. Can't keep his eyes covered. If he splits his face open, it'd be bad. What? And with that, we might well take out the gag. I don't know what the heck accent he's trying to do. You can't breathe like that. It'd be trouble if he yells. Leave him to us. Jeez, you guys don't know how to treat somebody. The main family said no rough stuff. You better remember that well. Yeah, we won't do anything stupid. As long as the kid cooperates, that is. The man's hand prodded roughly and repeatedly at the boy's head. A rugged hand, unlike the affectionate one that had been stroking his head before. Stay cooperative. If you struggle, there's no guarantee what will happen. That cliched threat was literally beaten into his head. Big yikes. Rest in peace, that kid. I can't remember what happens at the end. Like, cause we've heard this story about the kid getting kidnapped so many times throughout this freaking visual novel, but I can't remember for the life of me how it ends. Did the kid die? Was he returned? I think the kid was returned, but I'm not sure. Oh yeah, it has. Almost in every chapter, they go through the dam project. They go through that the guy was kidnapped. They go through that many people died in the specific order, year after year, whatever. But this was the start of it, was the guy getting kidnapped. But I thought it was his son, not his grandson, but, you know, whatever. I was close enough. Wow, I remembered something you didn't. Crazy how that works. Anyway, that's heckin' it for today. Yippee-ki-yay, fellas, we're halfway done, apparently. Kid probably survived, because if he died, then their demands wouldn't be met. I guess you're right, yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right, he probably lived. So yeah, that's it, fellas. Okay. See you guys in a couple days, probably? Yeah, for Disco Elysium, wow! And then we'll do some more Higurashi sometime as well, I don't know when. We'll figure it out when we get there. Okay, bye. Have fun doing whatever you do. See you. See you.
Drop. Lifting you up from inside. Play with me now. Check the beat, check the beat, the beat. Check the beat, check the beat, the beat. Check the beat, check the beat, the beat. Check the drop. Lifting you up from inside. Play with me now. Check the beat, check the beat, the beat. Check the beat, check the beat, the beat. Check the beat, check the beat, the beat. Check the drop. Lifting you up from inside.